So I'll just throw up my chart, and that's, I mean, again, it shows you that, Ben and I didn't discuss this necessarily ahead of time, but that's exactly what the technicals are insinuating, which again is probabilities, folks, right? I always stress this, is that when you deal with data, you deal with being able to decipher the likely scenario versus the less likely scenario. And really that's what it is, right? So we know that some of these altcoins are getting very extended. They're great runs, not to take anything away from them there. It's an amazing move. But you've seen Bitcoin dominance come in, and I have that exact same level. So you're looking just basically above or fractionally above 52% on Bitcoin dominance as where that would be, in my opinion, where you see, and again, it could be two things. It could be where the whole crypto market drops, but Bitcoin only drops 3%, while the altcoins drop 10, right? I mean, that's one way dominance could expand. Or the altcoins are done, they take a breather, and Bitcoin starts to power up. That could be a result of maybe the spot ETF gets approved. I mean, there's so many different possibilities of how dominance could move there. But I think that's exactly right. And I think it's worth just taking a look at some of these charts. Like I do want to touch base on Solana. Solana's had an amazing move up here. Interestingly enough, we're now at this level of resistance. And one of the things that I'm actually short Solana right now, so I am short Solana. But the high here, you can see this little pivot right here, that so far has been the high. And one thing to always watch for is see this 1 green candle, 2, and 3. And when you were all the way up here on this green candle, it was by far the biggest of the 3. Usually when the last candle is the biggest of the 3 and then forms a tail, that's called a blow off top, which is a short-term high pivot. And that's just standard technical analysis right there. So as of now, Solana has a top until proven otherwise. Now, other coins are starting to run. For instance, I was just looking at Litecoin. Litecoin's finally broken out. I have a target on that of around $79 to $80. There were some other ones too. I mean, all these obscure ones that I don't really know much about. INJ, look at this run on this thing. I mean, it had this beautiful little wedge pattern, finally broke out. And I mean, it's gone from mid-October, so basically less than a month ago, $7 it was, and now it's at 17 and change. So these have been amazing moves. There's nothing to take away from it. But for me, this is where I start. I mean, just as a technician and a shorter-term trader, I start to look at shorting opportunities when emotion starts to take over and it's not so much technicals anymore. Just to keep everyone in the loop on what I've done, and I always try to keep it transparent. So over the last week, I've been inching out of those. The only thing I have left on the long side now is Litecoin. So Litecoin, I'm still riding. I still think maybe that gets up to that target we talked about. And now slowly I've been inching into the short side. I got a little bit of chain link on the short side, a little INJ as well that we just talked about, that crazy move, Solana and some of these. And again, it's important to recognize that I'm a DCA trader, and that means dollar cost average if you don't know. And I do that on the long side and the short side. So like I've learned my lesson where short squeezes are unbelievably powerful. So I start small, and then if it goes up another X%, I add a little bit more. And ultimately what you do is you get these charts that they just go crazy, and eventually you'll get that pullback. And if not, then my stop obviously has to be honored at that point. But these are shorter term investments that I do. But I think, again, once emotion takes over, that's where I thrive. When everyone is trading on emotion, not everyone, but a majority of investors, once you get emotional, that's where the technicals and the data become most important. And I think Bitcoin, when it was at the highs, and the emotion there, and vice versa at different levels.
Bitcoin's got some wild moves. So here's the deal. Bitcoin has been kicking it near the $35,000 mark for a while now. Now that might sound pretty cool, but it's also a sign that the bull rally might be taking a little siesta. Our trusty indicators are flashing warning signs. Manny_D, the crypto analyst, spotted something called the network value to transactions, NVT, signal, and it's screaming overvalued. Now, NVT is like the relationship status between market cap and transaction volume, and right now, it's saying things are getting crowded. But before you freak out, remember, this ain't the first rodeo where NVT got a bit too excited. In the past, this indicator acted like a hyper kid on cotton candy, and Bitcoin went on to ride a bull market wave. Now other indicators are joining the party. BTC's exchange reserves are going up, which means folks are selling and taking profits, maybe signaling a bull market top. Plus the MACD and RSI are flashing bearish, and the money flow index, MFI, is heading towards neutral like a roller coaster making a U-turn. But hold on, cause the other side of the coral has some good news. Bitcoin wallet addresses holding over $1,000 worth of BTC, an all-time high. That means retail traders are catching a ride on the Bitcoin bandwagon, and BTC's entered the overbought territory, saying its uptrend is like a freight train with no brakes. The pros over at Castillo Trading are even predicting Bitcoin to gallop all the way to $48,000 if it stays above $30,000. But remember, if it takes a tumble below $30,000, those bullish dreams might get trampled like a tumbleweed. So folks, Bitcoin's like a wild stallion right now, untamed and ready for an adventure. Will it charge ahead to new highs, or will it buck its riders? Giddy up and stay tuned for this thrilling crypto rodeo. Let's continue our enlightening discussion with Gareth Soloway.
You can't fight the trend, right? I mean, that's the biggest thing. And that was in the bull market and then in the bear market. And then that applies to dominance as well. And dominance broke out. We know that. And then dominance continues to make higher highs and higher lows with retraces. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. I do have the chart on Matic here, Polygon. I just want to show this. So Matic is actually hitting some resistance today at this 71, 72 cent level. And if we zoom out, you can see where that line comes from, right? From all this consolidation right in here, that was right around that 72-ish cent level. So you're hitting some resistance on that one. If it does break, which is always a possibility, next level would be around 84 cents on Matic. But again, he's starting to get extended. You know, you had up move and then consolidation, up move here. I want to show you guys one technique that I use. It's called the measured move tactics. So essentially you take the initial move from the peak to the trough. And what we see is that's 15 to 16 cents. And then you say take the secondary move here, and you can basically map it out. So if we go up and complete a measured move, that gets us towards that next level up here. That would be kind of your maximum upside potential on Matic, getting towards that 80 cent level. But yeah, I mean, I think again, it's fascinating. It's nice because I think so many, and we were talking about this before. So number one, the euphoria I'm seeing in the altcoin market with so many crap coins again rallying 100+% probably means that it's not over for the altcoins in terms of the negativity and the downside. And then the number two thing is, like, you have to also understand that this is like a caged animal. The altcoin just kept going down and going down and going down. And so now it's almost like an animal that's broken out, and they're just like euphoric, right? They're like, holy cow, this is how the bull market was. Let me go crazy and just dump money in, which creates these oversized moves. So the question is, when the dust settles, where are these altcoins trading? Inflation is abnormally high still, right? So we're still north of 3%. So as long as we stay north of 3%, the Fed is not going to want to repeat what happened in the 70s and 80s, where they began to cut too quickly, and then you had that second leg up. In fact, I think you even have a chart of that showing how inflation worked during that period and how it came in real quickly, but then it surged back to the upside again in terms of the inflation move. And I think that's what Jerome Powell has said very clearly, yeah. So, I mean, he does not want to repeat that move, which is understandable. I mean, imagine inflation going to 15 or 16%. After it topped out around 9 to 10%. So my guess is they will cut. They'll do like a couple mercy cuts, which will try to stabilize the markets, but they will be very reluctant to come out with guns blazing again, unless for some reason that inflation gets down to sub 2%, because they know the end game, right? I mean, you have history on your side in terms of reading what happened or learning from history.
Over 15 years have passed since Satoshi Nakamoto launched the crypto revolution with the release of the Bitcoin white paper. On the brink of January 3, 2024, the network celebrates a decade and a half of continuous activity. Though many companies folded in 2023, several of the original players remain in the game. This overview showcases some of the first crypto firms still in operation, detailing their business activities and longevity in the marketplace. That wraps up today's crypto news highlights. Stay tuned for more updates, insights, and analysis from the world of cryptocurrencies. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content.